There's a few guarantees in life, but one of them is that if you see me, I'm going to be carrying this rock around. This rock has been in my pocket for many years now, and will continue to being in my pocket for many years. Probably wondering what's the significance of this rock. Well, when I was working, my supervisor pulled a rock out of his pocket, looked at it, put it back in his pocket. I was like, well, that's kind of bizarre. So went on about my business. A few weeks later, I saw my supervisor. He pulled a rock out of his pocket. Same rock, same exact rock. Looked at it, put it back in his pocket. So I'm like, oh, okay, something's going on with that rock. So I go up to my supervisor and I say, hey, what's the rock about? I happened to notice that a little while back. So what's that about? And he said that his pastor anointed several rocks like this, gave them out to his congregation, and told everyone to keep it in his pocket, keep it in their pockets. And so he did. He did that, and he carried it everywhere he went. And at this time in my life, I had just recently lost my father, and I was kind of going through it, and he was aware of that. So he takes this rock that he'd been carrying for years and he gives it to me. So I've, of course, refused him at first, and he insisted, so I took it. Well, the idea of it is, as you're going throughout the day, every time you reach in your pocket, you'll feel that rock. It'll keep your mind on God. And it helped me a whole lot. And, well, I've now been carrying this rock for several years. But there was a time where I couldn't find it for a good stretch of time. And let's say maybe a week or so. And I ended up telling my supervisor about it. And he said, well, don't worry about it. Here, have this one. He gave me a second rock. Well, I said, okay. So I take that rock. Of course, I feel bad. Take that rock and I hold on to it. Well, one day, my wife comes in the house and says, you will not believe what I just found. And I said, what's that? And she shows me, and it's my first rock. This one here that you're looking at. And so, of course, I'm surprised. I was like, where was it? She said she found it in the driveway amongst all the other rocks. So, kind of hard to believe. I was like, that's crazy. What are the odds of that? So, at this point, I now have two rocks. One in my pocket that he had given me to replace my original, and now I have my original. So, carry both in my pocket. I see my supervisor, explain everything to him. He says, hold on to them, both of them, because one day you're going to need to give one to someone else. He said, you'll know it when the day comes. Well, fast forward a little bit of time. We have a supervisor start at work. Really, really awesome supervisor. Does a really great job. Good person, big heart, really awesome person. Well, one day, after the individual worked there for quite a while, he came in, wasn't quite in the same normal spirits that he's always in. So, we just check in on him, and he confides in us that his father's getting ready to pass from the exact same thing that my father passed from. And he was obviously taking it very hard. Really, really close with his dad, and it was really hard on him. So my supervisor reached in his pocket to grab the rock he has to give to the supervisor, and I said, no. I said, I've been carrying this second rock for a while. I was like, this has got to be the reason. So I took that rock out and I gave it to him. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And it's important to note that, this has helped me through some really hard times. Simple act of kindness from my supervisor. He didn't have to do that for me, but it's something that meant the world to me, and something I'll continue to carry with me. And maybe you can find something like that for yourself and help you out. I really recommend it if this is something you can do for your congregation or for a friend or whatever the case is. If that's your thing, hopefully it'll help you out.